What's up, everybody? This is Alex Worldwide Keller, and you're listening to The Card is Going to Change. And let me tell you about one of our beautiful, amazing, gracious, and awesome sponsors. That's right, it's Pollyanna DIY at Pollyanna DIY on Twitter, on Instagram. Go to PollyannaDIY.com, and you can get all sorts of amazing buttons, shirts, pins, the whole kit and caboodle. That's right, PollyannaDIY.com. But now, let's take it to the reason that you hit download, the reason that you are streaming. That's right, the card is going to change.
Hello once again, everybody. Thanks for listening to AIW's The Card is Going to Change. Before we get into this week's episode, as always, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors that help us bring the show to you for free each and every week. Firstly, thanks to Angelo's Pizza. They're feeding us here as they always do while we record, and they, of course, bring pizza to you at our live events at Mount Carmel. If you want to try more of their pizza or anything else on their menu, it's all delicious. Head to Angelo's on Madison Avenue in Lakewood, Ohio. And thanks to Smart Mark Video, they record all of our live events. And if you want to relive any of those or watch them for the first time, you can purchase that on DVD or digital download from smartmarkvideo.com. And additionally, head to powerbomb.tv, sign up using the code ABSOLUTE, and you will get a 20-day trial for free. And then stick around and just keep watching the shows that we put out there from the AIW archives. And as always, thanks to Jack Prince, who helps take care of all of our printing and graphic design needs. They can do all of that and more for you, whether it be banners, t-shirts, business cards, flyers, everything and anything. For all that they have to offer, head to jackprince.com.
JAKPrince.com.
Oh, yes. What a legendary few weeks we've had here on the AIW podcast. That voice right there, the man, the myth, the legend himself, in and of himself, none other than Ryan Kaplan. He joins us along with Dom Guarini will be sitting in. Josh Prohibition's going to be chiming in, and AIW owner, as always, John Thorne.
This one's a long time coming.
I'm back, baby.
My name is Steve Guy. I'm your moderator of sorts, and this is the Kaplan origin story.
Just Kaplan.
I don't do this. I don't know.
There's so much to cover on Kaplan that everyone wants to hear about.
Let's start, I guess, from the beginning. It's a good place to start.
Like when I was born?
No, not that far back. Why did you get into wrestling?
Yeah, like what leads you to
find even any of this?
So when I was a little kid, I loved wrestling. I mean, I grew up watching it from like early 90s and through Attitude Era, early 2000s. That's pretty much when I stopped watching it. Like when I went to high school, I started hanging out with more friends, and I wasn't home as much, and I kind of got away from wrestling for a while. And I was partying a lot in high school, drinking, all the bad stuff. And one of my friends, around 2013, one of my good friends, Connor, he's probably listening to this.
Oh, yeah, I know Connor.
Yeah, Connor O'Brien.
Connor for sure.
Yeah, he got me going to AIW shows. I never heard of them ever. I knew nothing about independent wrestling. And
you just do like WWE, right?
Yeah, WWE, ECW, and WCW. All the stuff I grew up on, pretty much. And I never knew about any independent wrestling promotions. I never heard of AIW before I went to my first show at Turner's Hall. And I thought it was gonna be stupid at first. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't that impressed with the going there. I was like, oh, am I really going to this right now? And I ended up loving it. And
didn't you drink a beer with a Necro Butcher or something?
Yeah, that's where I was gonna go next. It was Necro Butcher and was it Chris Dickinson?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, they had that hardcore match, and they were going at it like crazy. And I remember that drew me in right away. I was like, wow, this is fucking crazy. I was like, I can't believe I'm watching this right now, because I never knew that it was gonna be that actually that intense, and I didn't really know what to expect going to those shows. So I actually got to hang out with Necro Butcher after his match. He was all bloodied up and sweaty, and we were in a parking lot at Turner's Hall, and we were chugging beers. He's a really cool guy, actually. To me, he was. I mean, it was just cool hanging out with him. You know, I mean, that was my first taste of wrestling and seeing like a hardcore match live. So I thought that was pretty awesome that I got to like chug a beer with him after the match. And I was kind of drawn in after that. I kept on meeting other people. I met Biggins. I remember seeing Biggins all the time going there, like at the door. He was always cool. I always talked to him and Thorne also. And you weren't around as much as Biggins was, but
Well, he was always at the door.
yeah. So I mean, I just knew him more, and I didn't really know anybody else there. So I was just going with my friends, you know, and drinking and getting drunk and yelling stupid shit. What I yell, jizz? And a couple,
You ever yell at Josh Prohibition?
I don't know. I may have, and that's just because I didn't know any better back then.
Well, I thought I'm pretty sure I'd remember. You stand out. You're not like the normal wrestling fan, and plus the volume at which you speak at is pretty remarkable. You got like the worldwide pipes.
Yeah. That's why I try to hold the microphone farther away.
Yeah, it's amazing. I wish I had your voice because like when I teach throughout the day, like I end up losing my voice by the end of the day because I don't naturally project. But you have this perfect voice for that.
I talk fast. I try to slow it down a little bit too, but it comes out quick. The avalanche of words.
So when do you find out that you can actually learn to be a wrestler?
Well, I went to about 5 AIW shows at this point, and I can't tell you which ones they were in particular because I was still just getting drunk and wasted every time I went. So I'm like, oh, let's go to this fucking show and get wasted and watch wrestling. You know, I had no idea who was who and what show I was at, but I really liked doing it. And then I found out that my buddy Connor told me that they were opening up a school, and Johnny Gargano was training us. I had no idea who Johnny was. I really didn't. I'm not one of those guys that's going to blow smoke up your ass and tell you I knew all these guys before. So I didn't. So I'm not that type of guy. But, so I'm like, okay, this dude's going to train us. I have no idea who the hell he is. He's a small dude. I'm like, what am I going to learn from this guy? And I learned a lot. Johnny was a hell of a dude, one of the best dudes ever to just meet personally and to train under. And Candace also, when she came around. And them both together were awesome to train under. And they taught us a lot, and they got us into wrestling shape the best they could.
So I guess, you know, before we jump all the way into that, you've told me this before in private, but you said that you think that wrestling school saved your life. Can we kind of, you know, can we go rewind a little bit before you get into, you even discover AIW, you had some problems, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, I don't mind talking about it. It's something I'm not ashamed of. If I were still doing it now, I would probably be more ashamed of it. But when I was pretty much from the age of 19, like all throughout high school, like I did a lot of stupid shit. Like I was a stoner. Like I cut class a lot, and then I barely made it. I made it through on the skin of my dick, you know. Like it was I cut it close. I almost didn't even graduate. And I remember having to take a test my last day of school, the day before we walked, and I had to take this test depending on if I were to walk or not. And I remember I really wanted to do it because like I would be the only one in my family that didn't do it, and I didn't want to be that reject. So it was like a movie. I sat down. I studied like one day before. I what do you call it? Crunch studying, whatever they call it, and
Cramming
everything in and all in one night. And I went the next day and I took that test and I passed it. So I don't know how the hell I did it. I think I got maybe a C minus, and that's like amazing for me back then. It's like an A, like plus.
Did you so you were able to walk for graduation?
Yeah, I was able to walk. I was very proud of myself for that, you know.
Did you know I was not allowed to walk for graduation?
Really?
If you go back to those bad influences, Josh Prohibition.
Not because of your grades.
Oh yeah, because of my grades. Oh yeah. I had to go to I had to do my whole senior year knowing that I had to go to summer school for 1 credit because I did nothing for the first 3 years of high school. So I had to go and do straight school all the way through, all 9 periods, no breaks, no lunches, and I had to go to summer school, and they refused to let me walk. So Kaplan, you beat me on that.
Yeah, hey, I barely did, but I'm surprised I did. I really am. Like with the effort I put in. I took this vocational program for construction. It was called Construction Trades in Mayfield High School, And that got me by. If I didn't do that for my last 2 years of school, I would have been done. I would have probably dropped out or whatever, or just failed out. And that saved me. But I still partied a lot. You know, I ended up doing like wrestling in my last 2 years of school, which like put me in a better shape.
Like amateur wrestling?
Yeah. And then I did rugby for 1 year also. And I enjoyed playing it. Like I wish I would have done that a lot when I first went into high school, because I didn't know anybody at that school. I was like a little bitch. Like I thought it was, what I envisioned it was like a prison with gangs. Like everybody like knew each other. They're all.
Were you like? Did you like transfer, or you're talking about
I went to Catholic school. I went to a public elementary school, and then I went to Catholic school for like 5 years, and then I went back to public high school, and it was just weird going back to that from
Did you get thrown out of the Catholic school?
No, I'm surprised I didn't, honestly. Like, I was definitely a little antichrist. But I didn't belong there. That kind of changed my view on religion altogether, actually. But by the time I went to high school, like, I was behind, like, on a lot of learnings because they did everything different there. And I just was restricted in a lot of ways, like, meeting a lot of these kids that were, like, skateboarders, and they were in cliques, everybody had their little clique, and I knew nobody. I knew like one or two kids, and they were always like a grade or two ahead of me. So like I didn't know anybody there. So I'm getting in fights with a couple people. People are starting shit. I'm backing down, like, and taking all this shit. Like I used to have a group of friends. Well, they're not my friends, but before
they weren't your friends.
They weren't my friends at first. It was kind of like a jump into a gang. They used to meet me after class every day, kick my fucking ass right after class, and beat me down, and I'd get right back up because I was always able to endure a lot of pain. So they would like beat me up pretty good. Like I would have bruises on my arms and shit, and but like I would get up and
it's not funny, but it's the
honestly I laugh at it because like I said, it was kind of like their initiation to be their group of friends, and those ended up being some of my first and best friends, and like all throughout high school, even after. Like still to this day, I still hang out with some of them.
Yeah, we'll get into the popularity of Kaplan now,
but
and what that's like. But
so do you feel later. Like so you fall into kind of like bad habits, I guess, right?
Yeah, definitely, and drinking most definitely. That was my worst.
And what happens with your drinking?
So yeah, I graduated high school, and then when I turned 19, like I never really got in trouble at all until I turned 19, and my first brush with trouble was being at like a party, and it was where I live, and there was like 100 kids there, and it got busted by the police, and everybody was running and shit. I stayed. I didn't really care. I only had like one beer. I was good. I just got there, and the cops came and they breathalyzed every single person in that party. They had way too much time on their hands, and we all had to go to court. So I had 30 people in court, and this judge, like we had, her name is Judge Boza for Lyndhurst. And I know this lady very well. Like I've been in front of her like 12, 13 times, but that was my first. So she's like the Judge Judy of like Lyndhurst. Like she acts like her. She even looks like her a little bit. She's making girls cry, making them feel like shit about themselves. Like don't drink. You shouldn't do that. You're gonna get raped and all this stuff. And girls are crying as they're leaving the courtroom. And I made up this whole story about how I didn't drink a lot. I was the only one that fought this case for a $100 fine, and my brother played my lawyer, and I went back like 3 times just to fight this case, to fight $100. I didn't want to pay it, and I felt like I had something to prove, so I lied the whole time, and I told her I was like, I don't drink. I made up the story about how I went and had a wine with dinner, and my family's Italian, like we're big Italians, which we are, but we're not that big, We're not having pasta and wine every night. I never had a wine with my family ever. So we made up this whole story. The judge bought it. She's Italian. She's like, oh, I see where you guys are coming from. Okay. And she let me off with like the slightest case out of everybody, So, like,
do you think that once you discovered the ability to manipulate like that, do you think that affected your behavior going forward?
Yeah, no, it did. I was like, okay, I just played my own lawyer and got out of getting in trouble while all these other jamokes got busted for it. But then let's fast forward to like 3 months later, I got my first DUI with the same judge.
And you're how old at this time?
I was 19.
Oh, man.
And that was when I did.
So what happens there? Like, what's the circumstance there?
Yeah.
I mean, this is the night I discovered how to do 2-beer chug, where I could chug 2 bottles at once, and in like 3 seconds, and I was good at that, and I learned how to do that. I went driving after to go get money or go to the gas station. Forgot to put my blinker on. I get pulled over right up the street from where I lived, and they asked me to blow, and I didn't know any better, so I blew. I got lucky. The machine was broken, the breathalyzer, but they pulled me out and gave me the walk and all that, and and they took me in still. They didn't believe me. So obviously I had like too many, but it was probably the most sober I was getting pulled over with, getting charged for DUI out of the 3. And I just gave it.
This is only the first one.
Yeah. So
I know one was really bad. What is that? The last one that's really bad?
yeah. Well, I got they're all like a year apart away. I got my second one when I like 2 weeks after I turned 21, and that one was bad. The last 2 were really bad. Like I had a house party that night, destroyed my fucking house. My parents go to Atlantic City, the first vacation they took in years. They were able to go by themselves, and they're out of town. I throw a house party, destroy the fucking house, and I had the bright idea to go to the fucking bar for no reason. I had no reason to leave. Friends are fighting me. I'm stubborn. Go to the bar, get shit faced even more, and I guess I hit a cone on the way out, and the cops alert me like as soon as I hit that cone because that was like a bad area to like drive, and I drove a couple miles before I pulled over, and they asked me like for my ID, and I almost gave my Giant Eagle card.
So did you not realize they were even following you? Because you said a couple miles.
Yeah,
before they
like
pull you over.
I went at least a mile, I would say, before I pulled over, and
My buddy that actually did get a DUI once, and he did give his Giant Eagle card.
I know that dude, and that's why I worked with him at Whole Foods.
Yeah,
Mike, isn't it Mike? Or
yeah,
and I saw him at what's his Sanka's
his bachelor party.
Yeah, so
or diaper party.
Yeah, we had that in relation. That's why I thought it was funny.
Yeah, you guys both got DUIs with the Giant Eagle card.
I think he actually gave it to them. I noticed.
He did.
Yeah, I pulled mine out, and I was like, "What the fuck am I doing?" And I noticed it because I sobered up. Then I was blackout. The cops asked me where I was going. I had no idea. Like I didn't even know what to tell them. Like I was like at my friend's house down the road.
So you get thrown in jail this night?
Oh yeah, I got arrested for all 3 of them. But like the first one was like 3 days and a weekend in jail, and
Yeah, because it's the weekend. Or whatever,
yeah. Then you got to go to like a class, and I did all that. The second one, 5 days. I did that in Bedford. I remember.
Yeah, you got to like the more you get, the more days you got to do.
Yeah, and I actually got let off like many times as I went in front of that judge. I felt like she took it easy on me a lot because she could have gave me 15 days for that. She gave me 5, and because I always worked, I think that's why she knew I was a working dude. I was just stupid.
So the third one comes along.
The third one comes along another year later. Let's fast forward another year. I'm 23, 2010, and I would just go to a party and preaching to kids like don't drink and drive, you'll get a DUI. I'm chugging a 40 of King Cobra right after I did that, and I drove. I wanted to go get some Best Gyro.
You wanted a gyro?
Yeah, hell yeah, I did. And I remember I went down a cul-de-sac area. I had no reason to go down there. Like I went down a total wrong street. I hit a parked car, and I was going at least 25, and I guess I don't remember I couldn't tell you which house it was, which car it was, and who the people were, but my head broke the windshield. It broke the rear view mirror, and then my head broke the windshield, and I freaked out. I'm like, oh shit, I just fucked up real bad. I need to get the fuck out of here. So I'm driving. I get out of there. My bumper is dragging on the ground, and I can hear it dragging. So I get out, rip the sucker off, and throw it in the back of my truck, and next thing you know, I'm pulling out the cul-de-sac, and I have 5 cops on me with guns out. And at this point, I'm like, I need to die. I'm just going crazy in my head. What are you gonna do when you get in a situation like that? I had no other reason to live at that point. I'm just I hate my life. This is fucking bad. I really fucked up this time. So I had the idea. I was like, I'm gonna try and blow my truck because it was spewing out gas because I fucked it up real bad, and there was fumes coming in my truck. You could smell them. It was heavy fumes. So I'm like, maybe I can spark my truck and get the flame going, and it never happened. Luckily, I could talk about it because I'm not ashamed of it. It's just a drunk thought that came in your head. That's how fucked up alcohol can work on somebody's mind, because it does make you do a lot of stupid things.
Especially when you're looking at your age, and this is the third one. You know it's coming.
Yeah. And I'm just.
You have a job. Because you're a reasonably responsible guy when you are sober.
Yeah, and it's just I always let the drinking take over my life. It always, that was always my downfall when I was when I would go out and when I was younger. That always got me in everything I ever got in trouble for was drinking. I had burglary charges.
Oh yeah, so didn't you steal somebody's bike or something?
Oh yeah, I never got caught for any of that shit. But yeah, I did that a bunch of times.
Disregard that.
Whatever. I don't care. I couldn't tell you who it was if I even tried. But yeah, there's been times where I've been stranded somewhere, so go in people's garage and fucking take their bikes. Probably the most fucked up thing I ever done. And I was walking home from the bar up the street from me, and I remember it was only like a 10-minute walk. Like, I had no reason to do this. I go into this garage, and I steal this little girl's bike and ride it down my street. I couldn't even pedal it because it was so small. Luckily, it was downhill, so I'm coasting down the street. I'm walking in the middle of the woods like fucking Jason Voorhees at 3 a.m, dumping this bike off.
Didn't someone telling you for that or telling you for something else? And then you refused to go to
No, that was for a window incident. Yeah, I was at a bar one night. He was actually Kurt Pitcher. He was actually one of the. He tried training with us. He made it through one class, right?
Yeah.
And I was at the bar with a couple of friends, and then I was acting stupid. I kicked the window at an antique shop next to the bar, broke the fucking window, and I took off. And the lady at the bar saw me take off. And next thing I know, I'm getting pulled over. I'm like, how the fuck did they catch me, you know? And the reason they caught me is because I used my credit card at the bar, so they had my name. And that kid, one of the kids I was with, they interrogated them. They found out who I was with and all that because they used their cards too, I think. And they questioned him, and he straight up told on me. Like, he's like Ryan Kaplan did that shit.
Okay, didn't you get? You have to tell the payback story, Kaplan.
I'll get back to that. I'm gonna go to the payback story. Yeah, so let's fast forward like a couple months later. That kid Kurt, he called me one day out of the blue, and he's like, I'm still kind of like a little pissed off about it, but like whatever. You know, it was my fault. I did it. I always took ownership of what I've done, but I was still kind of mad that he just straight up ratted me out. And he calls me up. He's like, yo, man, he's like, my grandma just died. He's like, and I don't have anybody to help me Paul beer for her, so I need you to comfort me. And I'm like, all right, Kurt, I'll do it for you, man. You're a good friend. Why not? Never fucking showed up.
You no-showed the Paul beer
yeah.
gig.
That was my payback.
So
You call that shitty, maybe, but I don't know. That was my way of paying him back. And I don't hold any grudge against him, and we're still cool. Like, where he came to a couple of my Jizz Fest parties, and
We'll get to those later.
So anyway, you find yourself at wrestling training. What were you thinking when you decided that you're going to take the leap? That you just needed something else in your life, or what?
yeah, like at that point when I first started going to AIW, that was like towards the end of my drinking career. Like I was.
Well, you still drink, but towards
but like a monster. I wasn't I was on a mission back then. Like I was blacking out 4 days a week, like and pissing myself. You know, like it was stupid. And it was like around 26. That's when I like started going to AIW shows, and that's when I started slowing down. I still didn't have my license at that point for my third. I got suspended for 3 years for my third one. Did a month down in county where you work.
Wow.
If I knew you, I would have said hi.
Yeah.
but that was a fucking shit show. But I learned a lot from that too. But I still ended up back there a couple times after. But yeah, so I started going to AIW shows, and I really enjoyed them, and I got my license back in that process of going, and I heard that they were doing like training, and I always thought it was cool going, and I said, why the fuck not? Maybe I need something else to, you know, channel my drinking problems, and, you know, kind of start something new and find a better hobby and habit, you know. So I got into that, and you know, it got me in a better shape, and I wasn't drinking like I was.
And it's you know, like how we talked with Josh Prohibition, it kind of puts you in with all these different walks of life, you know. What did you think about that? Because, you know, you're saying when you're going to a new high school, guys are beating you up to be their friend, you know. Like,
Yeah.
what did you think about that process?
Of high school?
No, I'm saying of coming to the school and like meeting all these characters.
Different people, yeah.
It was a big adjustment for me, like, because these are probably people I would have fucked with in high school towards the end, like a lot of them, like Frankie Flynn. I love you, Frankie, but I would have fucked you bad in high school. But you're cool. You're cool as fuck, man. You're a good dude. I don't hate you.
Fucked with or fucked?
I would have fucked with. Maybe you got me drunk enough. No, I'm just kidding.
I think you've got the width.
I wouldn't fuck him with your dick.
But so did you see? When we talk about how wrestling kind of saved your life, you said, is it because you looked at it as a challenge? You're like, this is something I want to do, or the fact that it just you felt like, if I'm going to do this, I got to be in better shape, so I'm going to drink less so that I can be in good shape.
Yeah, I knew it was something I had to take seriously. Like, I wasn't going to go into this half-ass. Like, my first year until I debuted, even, like, I showed up consistently and Kazoom tight. I showed up consistently and I really enjoyed doing it. I got in better shape. I lost a bunch of weight. I at least lost like 15 pounds, like from the first few months of training, and I enjoyed everything. It was fun. I always enjoyed like doing stupid shit. Like I would always. That's how I got through high school. I did a lot of stupid shit, and that's how I made friends. Like that was my thing. Like doing flips off like medians and whatever, something stupid on the concrete and getting drunk, and so I was able to use that for something useful. Yeah, it's like wrestling. At least like I'm doing it for a reason now instead of just getting drunk and hurting myself. Now I'm actually doing it for like people.
Did the camaraderie help you at all? You're going to school. You're all trying to do kind of like the same thing. You're all going through the same or similar struggles and challenges. Yeah. And like you just said, you used to be getting drunk and doing stupid things.
Yeah.
Well, now you guys are all working at this, and you're soberly.
Yeah.
And you're kind of going through this stuff different. So did that help you? Was it just because it seemed more like a little family? You got Johnny and Candace there, being mom and dad, and
definitely because I saw how serious Johnny and Candace took it, and everybody, not just them. Like Thorne and Biggins, like they were getting this. Like this is a big risk for them to open up a school. That could have been a bust. I mean, you had all these group of random fucking kids coming in, and with so many different gimmicks and personas, and not all of us were different. We really were. Like I showed up with two of my good friends. Brian Carson and good old Steve.
And Steve made it to about 2 sessions.
Yeah, he made it to about 2 sessions in. But if Brian didn't do it so much, if he was in there with me, I probably wouldn't have came back as much. I don't know if I would have stuck to it as much as I did in the beginning. And all the way till when I debuted and all that. And he's still really active, and I'm not around as much anymore, but he definitely helped a lot and helped me like get into it a lot more because I had somebody to do it with, that I was friends with already.
And like Steve was saying, do you think like the new friendships and the camaraderie like helped kind of bring you back? And like
like I made friends. I made family basically. Like I have a whole new group of friends. Like it's like I lost friends over the years and I gained a lot more. Like I try to be there, not just wrestling, in real life. Like Worldwide, I've been to a couple of his parties, like his wild fucking parties. They're all fucking like cutting each other open and like getting wasted, and I'm down with that. Fuck it.
So, I want to touch on real quick because this is going to be about wrestling, but then so much more because that's who you are. You said everybody's got all these different gimmicks and characters and ideas of who they want to be, and you talked about all the way up to our debuts. Well, then there's the Ryan Kaplan gimmick / character and debut. Everybody's got all their ring gear and these personas, and there he is, McNulty Construction.
I am who I am, man. I really am. Like honestly, I'm a fucking character. I really am, and like I couldn't be anybody else but myself. I really can't. And I mean, maybe not. I could get better gear. I know that, but but like character wise, like I am who I am, and I just couldn't. I'm not that good of an actor. I can. Do my thing in a ring when we're, working and all that, but a whole different persona, I can't do it. It's not me.
So, let's, you train for quite a bit of time. You've become beloved by all of your other, students and peers and things like that.
Yeah.
What are you thinking when it's time to make that debut?
It was definitely a reality check. Like it was very surreal. Like for as long as it took, it came really quick.
Right.
Like it was like, wow, this, we were always like halfway through like training, like say we started in June, like say December of that same year, like we're like, when the fuck are we gonna debut already? We've been training forever. And we're ready. We said that so much. Like Brian and I especially, we're ready. Like when are they gonna fucking debut us already? And then finally the day came and we're like, wow, it's fucking really here.
Yeah,
and
it's too quick.
This is a year, yeah. After half a year of us saying that, and now I'm like, wow, and then like even our first match, we didn't know fucking shit. Like we knew what we had to do. Like we learned to know. Like don't get me wrong, we knew a lot from Johnny. Like he taught us everything, but like just you have to work with like Josh said in one of the other podcasts that. You got to work in a ring, and
that's when you really learn.
Yeah, you have to experience like it firsthand in front of a crowd. Like it's not the same as what your conditioning and all that. It's a lot different. You got to learn how to work in front of people. And even like when we got all our friends to come, we had a huge fucking crowd for us, Brian and I. We sold like 70 tickets, 80 tickets.
Right.
Yeah, and like half of that place was there for us, and it doesn't like it was cool that they all came, but like they all started fading off eventually. You know, I mean, I knew that. I mean, we already knew that, and I didn't push it down people's throats because like wrestling's not for everybody. It's not. So like I'm like, come to my show, I'm gonna hate you forever. Like call me if you want to. You know, you don't have to give me $20 to come to support me. Some of my friends bought tickets and didn't even come. Like I was kind of mad about that. I'm like, why'd you do that? You know, that's cool for you to do, but you know, you don't need to do that for me. Like I just wanted you to maybe try something new, and you know, maybe you'd get
You
into
want them
it.
to
Like I
actually
did.
support you for real.
Yeah, you know,
be there.
which they did. You know, they had good intentions of doing that, but I wanted them to actually like want to be there and have a good time and experience this. Like
Because it was something that changed your life. A little
yeah,
bit.
it really was, and like I didn't want them to be like my mentality when I went in there, like fuck this hillbilly trash bullshit. You know, that's what I honestly that's what I thought, and like I'm not gonna bullshit you guys and say that I didn't, and I changed my perspective, and I learned a huge lesson about all that.
And you got as time went on, you got thrown into different situations, and you started taking more risks.
I was going to say there's one match that, we do Q&As with this episode with the podcast, and there's one match that's come up a couple times, and I thought there's only one person that could be on this podcast and talk about it, and that was your fresh meat match.
Oh,
That's that's kind of what you wanted to do. The guy that you wanted to wrestle, you wanted to do a death match. What did how was that experience for you wrestling Madman Pondo?
Well, first of all, I probably still won't be able to have kids because of him. The fucking cinder block. But it was definitely hard like, going with a veteran like he is. You know, he's been wrestling since the year I was born, '87. And we actually have the same birthday, June 24th. And he debuted on his birthday in 87. Or no, maybe not 87. I don't know if it was his birthday, but he debuted the year I was born. So he's been wrestling my whole life, and I'm wrestling a guy that's been through everybody, like this guy's seen it all. And it was definitely intimidating, like the most intimidating match I had, like putting together a match with somebody.
Right.
And it was kind of harder with him because, he was kind of jumbling things up. But it was like nothing against him, but it was like we would go over something, and then next thing you know, it's different. And then I'm just like, okay, then now what? So this is like where I had to probably improv the most during the match. And it was definitely interesting and kind of hard in a way.
Did you feel good about it after it was done? Like comfortable with?
I'll tell you someone who didn't feel good about that match after it was done. My good friend John Thorne over here, as you crashed Madman Pondo through the first of our many Mount Carmel tables.
Yeah, I was the one that broke the cylinder.
That's your improv.
Yeah. I put Pondo on the table, the thing fucking just breaks. Like it's just amazing me how I put him on there lightly too, just to like make sure it wouldn't break, because I saw it bending before when we were fucking around with it, and I put him on there gently. The thing just fucking breaks. So what the fuck do? I grab the plastic the bell table, and I just fucking improv right there. And I did my dive, and that's actually the dive that I used for my Fox 8 Turkey Bowl entrance.
One of the next moments that puts Kaplan on the map with AIW fans, and let's get some traction out there in general in the world of social media.
It's a split-legged moonsault.
Is a split-legged moonsault that did not go as
it was going to training though.
Yeah, but it was not. It did not end up looking as it was supposed to on your friend Brian Carson.
Botchamania looked good.
So there's a great training story as to the setup for this. And actually, we were talking. Me and Flynn were talking about tonight at training, and it was Kaplan is practicing the split-legged moonsault, and he have a very high success rate, probably in the high 90 percentile.
Uh-huh.
And then out of nowhere, he decides to yell before he does it, "I love ice cream." And then, as he yells, "I love ice cream," he proceeds to almost break his neck. And the only thing Johnny and Candace tell him is, "Hey, Ryan, when you do it against Brian, just don't say 'I love ice cream.'"
And for the record, I never said that night when I was wrestling Brian, but it's just the ropes were a little.
Josh, have you seen this video?
Yeah, I did.
That was something like it was my fuck up. Like, I mean, I take full blame for it. There's no way around that. But that night in particular, like I always, when I knew I was gonna be doing that move, like I was always checking that top rope to make sure it was like right where I needed to be. And that one night in particular, like it seemed like a little like looser than usual. And I knew that too. And my fault. I should have probably not done that then if I knew that. And I still did it. And look what happened.
So from a guy that has trained a few guys, one of my rules that I have for guys that I train, I call it the B- rule. And I say anything that you do in training, if we're not going to give it a grade of a B- or better, never ever attempt it in a match. And I was just speaking to Maserati Wes at Fitworks in Rocky River. He works out there too, and I was kind of talking to him about a match. He wanted me to watch the match he just recently had with Duke.
Yeah.
And he was asking me some constructive criticism, and I was kind of giving him the B- rule. But again, with the split-legged moonsault, I probably could do one as well, but it definitely would not be better than a B-. So there's a very good reason why I would never attempt that in a match. But you live and learn, right?
Yeah. To this day, by the way, when you do that and you start scaling up to the top rope, the crowd goes silent, and you hear them all taking in air, wondering if they can breathe a sigh of relief.
So putting me on a spot, which I want, if I want your intake on that right now, would you think that I should keep on doing that or no? And I want the art cult to know this. I want this to be said in front of the whole cult.
I hope that. How old are you?
I'm 31 now.
Okay. You probably hope for at least another 40 years of life.
Maybe.
I would have to. So one of my things I say to some guys that I see doing ridiculously stupid things, I say save it for SummerSlam, which is basically save it until you get to a major pay-per-view, and then maybe take that risk with your life. But for Mount Carmel, 200 people, 250, I probably wouldn't do it.
Okay.
But again, it is your neck. But
I know.
I think you have a long life ahead of you, and hopefully a comfortable one without major neck surgery.
What about once in a while?
I mean, from what I saw, like I said, I don't think I'd risk it.
He has hit it though.
He has hit it.
Honestly,
then, yeah.
I think your best bet. What I would coach you to do. Just get in there and swing it. Just absolutely just bruiser, stiff people like crazy, and just get in there with guys that can really bang and just have a brutal, hard-hitting match. But I might save the moonsault for SummerSlam.
Gotcha. All right, well, I'm glad you told me that, honestly. I want everybody to get a first-hand view of how this goes in the back room. Like, this is how we were talking about that, and this is what it is. And, I'm not ashamed of it. Nobody really should be. Like, this is how you learn. And I learned a valuable lesson, like, a bunch of times, like, to do stuff and not to do stuff. Like, there's been a couple of matches I had where I just totally botched something, and, like, I'd never really want to do it again. But I don't know why I was so adamant about the moonsault. Probably because it was, like, the craziest thing I was able to do and sometimes pull off. So, like, but, and, like, Johnny had a lot of, like, we had a lot of fun, like, practicing for that during practice, like, during training.
All right, so as we talk about coachable moments, you yourself got to be a coach and not listened to at one point. We discussed the camaraderie of the group of guys you trained with. You decided to make your way over to Now That's Class with Worldwide, and you won a beer chugging competition.
Oh, yeah.
Got a sweet jacket, and the next year you tried to coach your friend Worldwide.
Yeah, the only reason I tried to coach them because they wouldn't let me participate in it, those bastards.
Yeah, what was that reasoning?
Because I murdered them in the first year. Like, you had to chug 40 ounces of malt liquor, and it was the 40-ounce Man of the Year competition. And Now That's Class in Lakewood. And I did both, and it was 1:16. I remember that's how fast I chugged both. And the second place came in at 8 fucking minutes. I was so disappointed in my competition, and it was cool, because that same night I had one of my good friends, Teddy. He died, and we had his funeral that day. So that was kind of like my dedication to him, and that was pretty meaningful to me. Like that jacket that I have, I'll fucking cherish that forever because I earned that jacket for my buddy that died. I'm gonna frame it one day, like that shirt, and then nobody can see.
Kaplan, I have some questions. So I consider myself a beer snob. I'm drinking some really piss poor beer here at the Thorn residence at the moment. But typically I'm a bone dry craft brew IPA kind of guy.
Yeah.
So when you're chugging these 40 ounces, what is the ABV on those bad boys?
I think they're like what is it?
Malt liquor can be like
they're
7 or 8.
Yeah, they're 7 or 8%.
Wow, so
yeah.
you're going 80 ounces at 7 or 8%.
Yeah, they're meant to fuck you up. Like they I used to drink those a lot when I was younger, and like they.
Yeah, because what was it? It was like King Cobra or something.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's where I
Yeah.
got my DUIs off of.
What do they have now that's class?
They had Mickey's. I never even heard of it before.
Oh yeah, Mickey's is a classic. You got the Hornet on there.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. A green bottle.
Yep.
Yeah, I never heard of it before, honestly. And what you're that stuff, it goes down smooth, but it hits you like a brick. It's so weird.
I was gonna say, so what was your time on the two 40 ounces that you were able to take down in record time?
A minute 16.
Second place was 8 minutes.
Yeah.
So for a guy that doesn't ever, partake in that particular fashion, how long does it take before that really starts to hit you?
Oh, before I get the buzz, it comes quick. When you chug it, it hits you a lot quicker. Like probably like 10 minutes, like 15 minutes. At 20 minutes, you're feeling it pretty damn good. Like you're drunk.
I've never vomited from drinking before, but I think that would probably do it.
Yeah, it very well can. That shit hits you hard.
It turns out the very next year, somebody did.
Yeah,
And this
fucking
is-
worldwide.
So tell us this story of you trying to coach worldwide in this contest.
So I knew they wouldn't let me participate the next year. I'm all pissed off about that. I wanted my $50 gift card again, another jacket, and I'm like Roadwide's doing it this year. Maybe I'll be his coach. Motherfuckers have come walking in with a fucking large coffee, and he's just sipping on it. I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Oh, I'm getting ready for this fucking chugging contest. Worldwide. I'm just like, dude, you're fucking drunk off coffee already, and this dude's just fucking drinking coffee. I'm like, dude, that's like the worst thing you could drink before a chugging contest. I could just picture the beer and the coffee mixing together in his stomach and curdling. It's fucking gross. And what do you know? Surely enough, during the competition,
I was there.
Yeah, like 1 minute into the competition, this motherfucker's puking over the place. It was funny. It was a sight to see, and he did it in the class. He was classy about it. He did it in front of everybody.
The thing that's so disgusting about this competition is they lay plastic down everywhere
Like
because they know
Dexter.
guys are gonna puke.
And it's like fucking Dexter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like I never really puked off drinking growing up. Like if I did, it was because I chugged too many beers like way too fast. Like one time I did a 6-pack. I shotgunned 6 beers one after another, and I puked after that because it was just too much to take in. One time, the most consumed like in like a straight up sitting was like, or just like a chug wise, it was I did 5 beers in a bong once when I was in high school. It was rugby. I went to Pittsburgh for a tournament, and these motherfuckers poured 5 beers into a bong, and they just gave it to me, and I just did it, and I'm just fucking like, when the fuck is this thing gonna end? And I puked all inside a tub and over the place.
So I think one of the good things in my life was that I'd never started drinking until I was 27 years of age,
Oh, really?
which allowed me to kind of bypass all those dumb decisions you typically make at a younger clip. So I have a decent respect for alcohol, and I try to use it as responsibly as possible. But when one enters into a chugging contest like the one that you were able to win, is there a particular secret, or is it just genetics?
It's just, I guess it's genetics. Like I don't know how my dad was when he was in high school or growing up, but it's just something I was able to do. When I was back in high school, like I first started hanging out, like when I really started partying, I hung out with like older kids. So like they would be bonging and shit, and I'm just starting to get into drinking. And my first drunk was probably like when I was 16, and like I remember it was New Year's in my buddy Kenny's house. I got piss ass drunk, and I'm walking up these stairs. We're in his basement. His grandma catches us, and she's like, "What are you guys doing?" And I just fall down the stairs right in front of her, and I'm acting like it never happened. I get like right back up, and she's like, "You're fucking drunk." I'm like, "No, I'm not." And but like I was always able to I also worked at a grocery store, and they support beer on top of the ribs to tenderize them or whatever, and.
Don't tell me you drank the beer off the ribs that had been marinated.
That sounds good. No, but that's salmonella, brother. No, but like they would have like random cases of like 12 packs in the back room. This is like an old school like Italian supermarket, like a Catalano Stop and Shop, and this is when you can still smoke in the break room, and all Italian guys working there like screaming in the back room, and. I'm taking these cases of beer, and we're going in the cheese cooler with my buddy Stevie and Tommy. We're in a meat department. We don't give a fuck about our job, We're going in the cheese cooler, and we had to drink them fast because we didn't want to get caught. So I think that's where I learned how to like how I knew I was able to drink fast because I was smoking them on like the chugging. And then I started going to bongs. I actually practiced with water first with the bongs because I didn't know if I was able to do it, so I did water for the first time. And
First person I've ever met to say they practice
beer bong.
bonging.
I did it by myself.
You know what's so funny that you said that? I saw the video of you drinking the 40 ounce in that record time. And what I actually did, I'm not even exaggerating, I took 40 ounces of water and I said, I don't even know if I could drink 40 ounces of water in the same way that Kaplan drank that beer. And I tried it and I had to stop because I was getting close to puking.
Oh. It's not for everybody. It's what I call it is unnecessary talent. Like, it's cool that I can do it, but they got me in a shitload of trouble along the way. Like, and I've earned all that trouble I got in. Like, I owned up to it, But it's cool that I was able to do that. But it just wasn't, It's just got me in a lot of trouble, and it wasn't worth it in the long run.
I find it so interesting how enamored Josh Prohibition has obviously been with this talent of yours, because he has
that's
practiced and he has very
all the questions.
Specific questions about
I'm honored by that, by the way.
No, and like I said, I never drink to specifically get drunk. I enjoy the tastes of beer. I like the chemistry. I'm a home brewer myself, but again, it is fascinating to me what I saw. I just couldn't comprehend that.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I was amazed by it. Nothing. I mean, obviously, I would not coach anybody to do that, especially at that alcohol percentage with the whatever it was, the Mickey's or King Cobra.
Yeah.
It seems a bit dangerous, but again, at the same time, it was pretty miraculous.
Yeah, I hung on my coaching jacket after Worldwide. He ruined it for me.
So
I think 10
you're not
years
gonna-
from now, we'll still be talking about.
You're not going to enter Josh
Yeah, I
Prohibition
was
this year?
this year it's all you, brother.
Oh no!
No. Yeah, we should do it. No, but
Like I like
sit on it.
I like being able to say that I've never vomited from
I got you.
drinking, and I think that would change that story.
I never really tried to peer pressure people into like doing something they didn't want to do, because I don't think people should do that shit. It's stupid, and especially if you're driving. Like, don't drink and drive, people. It's stupid, and you're gonna get busted if you get lucky a bunch of times. Good for you. You're gonna get busted eventually.
Do you feel like your life has just dramatically changed from a couple years ago?
Yeah, like I'm no angel. I never will be. I'm convinced about that already. But like, I still go out. I'll have a couple beers, but I know moderation now, and I understand like my limits. And I'm more of a DD than I am like a drunk anymore. Like, I make sure my friends are good. I took random people home from the bar before because I've been in their place. And I passed out at bars and bathrooms. I got kicked out of every bar around Mayfield at one point. And there's been a couple times, like the Dunkin' Donuts in Mayfield. There's a guy named Mo that works there. Hell of a guy. Middle Eastern dude. He fucking hates me, like, to this day. I think he knows now that I'm not that bad. But I used to go in there and fucking just pass out at the tables. Cops would fucking find me passed out at the tables there at 3 and 4 in the morning. Got to get taken home. And like, I would just destroy shit everywhere I went, break into houses, like stupid bullshit. Like, how the hell did I end up there? Like, one time I broke into a house that I thought was mine, and it wasn't. And I woke up in this random vacant house, and I don't know how I got lucky that it was vacant. But I remember waking up on the floor in an empty house and being like, how the fuck did I get here?
So don't drink and drive.
Don't drink and drive. Well, that night I was smart. I didn't drink and drive. I
So,
just walked. But
as we could go on for, this will be multiple parts, I'm sure, one day with you. But as we kind of wind it down here, have we seen the last of Kaplan in a wrestling ring?
I would say no. And I'll be back. I was traveling a lot, and I was making money, doing my thing. I'm trying to get a house and all that. And I recently just got a bad bacterial infection in my eye. I'm blind in my left eye right now. And I'm getting a cornea transplant on the 3rd of next month. So they're going to fix that. And after that, I'll be able to see 20/20, he said. So I want to come back. I actually been losing weight. I quit smoking. I'm a month off now. And like exactly a month now. And I've been dieting. I got way too fat. I want to go from an obese idiot to a fat idiot again. Maybe just an idiot one day, So I'm definitely working on myself a lot, and I've been just trying to get back into just the swing of things back at home here since I've been gone for so long. But you haven't seen the last of me at AIW. And either way, I'm going to come visit no matter what. And you might book me in random matches against AJ Gray or something.
Yeah, I was going to say, we have to end this one, but there's so much more to get to that we'll have Kaplan back on another episode. We've got to talk about the AJ Gray match. You coming basically straight off the road, his safety first Kaplan with your gear on there. And we've yet to even talk about Jizz Fest. So much more to get into, but we've got to wind this one down. For Josh Prohibition, for Kaplan, for John Thorne, my name's Steve Guy, and we'll talk to you guys next week here on The Card is Going to Change.
Later, guys.
Any final words? That's it.
Just look forward to seeing me again because I'm looking forward to seeing you guys.
In 2020.
Yeah, 2020 is a whole new year. New year, new me.
No vision.
Yeah, no, yeah.
It's only 2019.
I hope I get a dead man. I hope I get a dead man's eye. Well, I am gonna get a dead man's eye. So hopefully it's like some kind of killer or something. You know, maybe I'll see what he saw. I need to stop drinking.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get into your 30 days in county too.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that.